Today I want to talk about how I don't think the guillotines will be enough. It's Monday. I'm gonna go outside later, I think. So I might have another video from today. But I'm just making myself some coffee. I'm just waiting on the coffee machine. It's a nice rainy day. I do love the rain. On days like this, I feel like I'm much more likely to feel calm. My mind feels calm, which is not usual for me. Something very comforting about the rain at this time of year. Cools things down a little bit, makes everything greener. Oh, my coffee's ready. One moment. We're about to get energized in this video, even though I'm low-key doing ASMR. I hope this mic is picking this up. I recorded a video yesterday and I just did not place the mic well, so it ruined the audio, so it kind of bummed me out. But I'm gonna go make, I think, basically the same video in a little bit here. Okay, here we are. Got the coffee in this mug that my mom made. Pretty cool mug. That's good stuff. As I was saying, days like these make me feel calm. They make my nervous system calm. I guess that's the best way for me to describe it. And on days like these, I like to reflect because I think I have a little bit more space to think about things without it being too much. So today I want to talk about how I don't think the guillotines will be enough. And what does that mean? Right? Because I think there's a pretty clear sort of allusion drawn in that statement, obviously to the French Revolution and everything. But I'm not a Robespierre, if you will. I don't know if the guillotines are coming for the billionaires. I don't know. They probably are in some shape or form. Obviously, I don't think we have enough people who are interested in building physical guillotines to have that be the method. But obviously, if we accept the statement that everyone has a breaking point to be true, then logically there's a breaking point for enough people for that to happen. I mean, I see it all the time. I can't pretend like it's not something that I think about, in my most frustrated and my angriest moments. But violence is an interesting thing because intent is so important. Violence for violence's sake is almost animalistic. It's carnal. And violence can come in so many different forms. While we undergo increasing class violence from the ruling class, the owning class, for a lot of people, they don't see it that way. They don't see that as violence, even though it really is. Depriving people of food, water, shelter, the basics to live, depriving people of community, depriving people of connection, exploiting people's attention, every facet of their brain to maximize profit, to sell ads, to mine data, to optimize the extraction. You're subject to much more violence than you think in your day-to-day life. And all of this mass suffering, whether you're here like I am in Alberta and our rights are being trampled, taken away, ignored, whether you look at, too many places in the world, genocide is rampant and abundant. I often ask myself, just how much fucking pain can we take? How much can we take? Looking down south to the Americans, they have been able to take a lot more than I thought before breaking. They still haven't reached it yet, really. And it's because they've been pacified. The wider population is so disinformed, so individualized, that it's going to take so much to get them to that level of class consciousness. If they even can, that's the question. What does that look like? I'm looking to the midterms, see what happens after that. But this is not an American problem. This is not a North American problem. This is a global problem driven by globalized capitalism, which is the conductor for this massive wealth inequality we see globally at various scales and complexities. I'm getting carried away. Violence. I don't know how many times I've heard in my life, violence is not the answer. I feel like, without wanting to come off as someone who is violent, because I don't think I am, for the most part, violence is almost always the answer, unfortunately. And as I said, violence looks very different. It comes in many forms. And violence can look like a guillotine. Violence can look like decapitation, clean and simple. But violence can also come in the form of communication, in the form of truth. Capturing an image is an act of violence, in my opinion, or can be. The technology we have, the ability to capture something forever, an instant or many instances, into storable, changeable information is very, very conducive to violence. If you look at the violence of the ruling class, image and video are almost at the center of it, whether it's propaganda, through social media, etc., or through surveillance, through stealing those photos and videos, or through capturing those images themselves. And horrifyingly, the newest version of that is with AI. Image generation AI is an act of violence on all of us. These algorithms, it's stolen all of these images captured by people. They stole a collective base of images and essentially repackaged them and sold them back to us, with the added bonus of using our potable water, of stealing our electricity, of stealing our land, of stealing our peace and our self-determination in communities. You also have the image directly used for physical violence. I mean, Palantir. I feel like that's probably all I have to say, to be honest. In the last few years, these companies, I'm going to use Palantir as the example, have used images and cameras as well as a slew of other data to enact the worst violence happening in our world on multiple fronts and multiple places. Why? Ultimately for profit. And so that's how the image can be used as violence, as a tool of the oppressor. But how do we use the image? This is what I've been asking myself. It's a strange sort of morbid curiosity that I have that I think feeds into me being a filmmaker and everything. Is because I have this awareness of the power of an image. I try to be very intentional with the images that I capture and to try and see what narrative I could possibly be sculpting with these images and how it can be construed or misconstrued. If you know me, you know I don't take a lot of photos and videos on my phone. And it surprises people when they first find it out because, you know, I'm the camera video guy in my circles, but I don't. I prefer to take images with a camera just because it gives me that built-in sort of intentionality that is not necessarily associated to my phone, at least in my mind, which is why I have that sort of separation. And if I do take photos with my phone, I try to be very conscious of what am I taking, who am I taking photos of, right? If I'm taking video at an event and I'm editing it, I'm being very mindful of how I'm portraying people. In recording, you know, for example, an event and editing that video down, I hold an immense amount of power because people are being recorded that don't necessarily know that they were being recorded. I catch people in the moment. And so going through and cutting those, I try to be very cognizant of that. I try to put myself in that situation to see if I would want that image there or not. And this is just like summer related, but this is why I fucking hate meta glasses. Meta glasses record people not only without their consent, but without their knowledge that a camera is even present. And what makes it even worse is that it takes advantage of the very human reflex that is, you know, look for the eyes being the window to the soul. You look to someone's eyes and they take advantage by recording your eyes with their meta glasses without you knowing because you reverted to your base human instincts of connection. If you can't tell, this is starting to piss me off a little bit. But I will remain calm. Oops. Yeah, my phone ran out of storage. I'm just gonna wrap this up because that recording was longer than I thought it was. To bring it back full circle, the reason I don't think the guillotines will be enough is because the violence that we face is so structured, it's so ingrained in all of our systems that the violence that may be necessary to fight back for ourselves, for our rights, must also be structural. It cannot be random, dispassionate, because individual acts like that, not to say that they are, you know, useless or that they don't accomplish anything, but I think in a larger sort of frame, the guillotines will not save us because these people are hydras. They are hydras of the system. You cut off one head, two literally, and two more will take its place. Two more guys will pull up. Two more bald, weirdo freaks will show up and operate within that same role in the same system. And we'll just keep on trucking on. So I guess that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Follow my Instagram, fgagnon.design, same as the channel. Thanks.